Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, it's in my previous video, this is going to be a two-part video. What I meant by that is, obviously you see the eyeshadow look. This is going to be the part 2 of the video. This is me in over 6 months finally doing a full face of makeup. Now, the full face of makeup I'm doing is essentially shot my stash video because it's all makeup I've had already. So let's just get started because I don't know how long this is going to be. So this is going to be kind of the test video to see if ways to cut it down, ways to make it better. So let's just get started. I am going to start with the YC Collection Let Me First Primer. Now I'm pretty much, I know I'm pretty close to done with this because I've used it. So this is what it looks like. Where's the mirror? There we go. So what I do is I just dab. I do this. And yes, I put it on my neck too because I do I put my foundation in, actually concealer too, and my bronzer on my neck so I can match at least. Normally I do my eyeshadow as the last part of the makeup process, but I wanted to do a two-part video so I can have content up next week because, I mean, obviously you see my Amazon shirt, so you know that I work at Amazon, and if you know anyone who works at Amazon, then you know what's gonna happen. Crazy work hours, so I want to have something up. So I don't have, so I'm silent all week because that's what's going to end up happening if I don't do something now. Alright guys, so that sets in a little bit. And the next item up I'm going to use, I mix two foundations. I'm going to mix the Found Sealer Tarte Multitasking Foundation in the shade 34N Medium Neutral with it's a CC Color Correcting Full Coverage Cream in Neutral Medium. I do 1 pump each and I combine it, and there we go. So 1 pump each. And then put it here, combine it like so, same thing like the primer. I dab. I know some people are going to criticize, but I'm going to say this now. I am not a makeup artist at all. I don't think I'm even a beginner because it's been so long since I've done makeup that I can't even call myself a beginner. I'm going to say a novice. I think a novice is before a beginner. I use this beauty sponge. I think this is the AOA one? I think. I can't be sure. Cannot be positive. But hopefully everyone's okay. Looking forward to, well, I know Thanksgiving is a controversial holiday because of the history behind it, I'm not gonna lie. But I know people do celebrate. So if you are celebrating, please be safe out there, because unfortunately, this is the holidays of, you know, drunk driving. You know, because people do drink during the holidays. Especially, oh, you drink all year long, but you know, especially during the holidays. So, if you're going to be out there, you know, driving, please be careful out there. Safe as possible. My plans are, I don't have plans because I work for Amazon. When the holidays come, you have no plans because Amazon owns you pretty much. For me at least. Okay, so that's how it looks. Blend it out with the sponge, but I'm going to pick up the rest. And dab. But I'm going to try to come up with something to talk with. I'm going to run out, but I'm going to talk about a show I started talking about like I don't know how many videos ago, some number of videos ago, about Ruri's Royal Love Story Palace. I can't never get the title right because it's kind of long, but okay. So the idea of the show is about, well, Ruri's not even her original name. The Empress Dowager changes it to Ruri, but it's about Ruri, and she ends up marrying the future emperor as the second wife, even though she was originally chosen as the first wife or the main wife. The emperor at the time told the prince the only way he gets to marry her is if she's taken on as the second wife, not as the main wife. And the reason is because her aunt is the empress at that time. Her child tries to usurp the emperor. I mean, he really honestly doesn't, but you know, in the emperor's mind, he does. Or he tried. So he kicks the prince out, blames the empress, so now her clan and her niece essentially they're no longer in power, or they're no longer favored. Next item up, concealer. I'm gonna use the Revolution Conceal and Define in the shade C12. But so the prince just chose Ruri as the main wife. They're about to end the ceremony, and that's when the emperor comes and tells him, you can't choose her. She can't be your wife. And the prince is like, wait, what? What's going on? So when he goes to the emperor explains what happened and says the only way he gets to marry Ruri is if she's taken on as the second wife. And the girl he chose as the second wife originally now becomes the main wife / future empress. So that's what he does. And I'm going to set everything. I am a setter because I get oily. So I set. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus translucent powder. The one thing, I'm using it because I'm like right there at the bottom. But, so the prince agrees. If the only way he can have Ruri is, you know, as the second wife, he agrees to it. So Ruri comes back because she's kicked out of the palace. She comes back now. I'm going to put it here. And they get married. Now again guys, this show takes place when well, a husband can have, in the culture, husband can have many wives. So they get married. This is where they do a time leap. 6 years passes by, and the emperor has now died. And the prince has now become the new emperor. He's now in power. So now it's time to move from, I guess they call it the Prince Manor. I'm not sure if that's the technical word, but they move on. They move up to, you know, I guess bigger and better palaces. And this is where it gets dirty fast. The Empress Dowager threatens Rui's life and tells her she either kills herself in order to give her aunt a peaceful last couple of years of her life, essentially her retirement. She gets to retire in peace. Or something's gonna happen to the Empress. So Rui decides, okay, I'll kill myself to save my aunt if you give her, a peaceful retirement and give her what she wants. The night that she's about to kill herself, she visits her aunt. Her aunt drinks a tea and use the Essence Sun Club Luminous Bronzing Powder for my bronzer. She goes visits her aunt, and she gets there, she drinks a tea, and her aunt starts feeling bad. And that's when Rui asks, what's going on? What's happening? And that's when the aunt reveals that the Empress Dowager made a visit to her and made the same deal with her that she made with Rui, which was the Empress Dowager kills herself to save her niece's life, Rui, because she cannot tolerate two Ulanara clan members, because that is their clan. She cannot tolerate both of them. So she gives her a poison and tells her, you make the choice. Which one? Is it you or your niece? She chooses to kill herself in order to save her niece. Because she knows, obviously she is an older woman at this point. She can't have kids. So she decides to sacrifice her life in favor of her niece, who can, carry the Ulanara clan forward. And she tells Rui, in order to avenge her death, she has to become the Empress. Now, remember guys. Yeah, there we go. There's already an Empress, but things happen. And she tells her niece, you need to become the Empress. That is the only way you can avenge my death. She dies, of course, because, that's the only way Rui could live. And of course an investigation is open. People are like, how can she die? This doesn't make sense how she dies. So they open an investigation. And Rui has no choice but to lie, obviously, about the circumstances of her aunt's death. So when the emperor, newly crowned emperor, comes to her and tells her what happened, in front of the former investigator, or in front of the official, she lies on the record and says she died of heartbreak, she had health issues. That's what happened. Nothing else happened. So he dismisses his mother and the former investigator. I'm going to use the Project Tall blush, and She's Adorable. So he tells him, okay, go. I want to talk to her alone. He goes away. The investigator, convinced, like, thinking, okay, she truly died that way. Now, the Empress Dowager sticks around because she's concerned that Rui's going to say something, that she's going to spill the beans on what truly happened to her. And it's Rui and the Emperor left alone now. And the Emperor is straight with her, like, okay, tell me what really happened. What happened to your aunt? No one's here, it's just you and me. So this is the moment she can spill the beans and tell the truth that your mother killed my aunt. Or she lies. She decides to lie. She lies and tells the same story she told the official. She had health issues. She died of heartbreak because she couldn't be there for him because he banished her from her side. And she goes with that. And she leaves. Empress Dowager says, oh, well, that was quick. You didn't, stick around very long. And of course, they have an honest conversation because, obviously the Empress Dowager threatened Rui, so. And that's when the Empress Dowager says, you might have a future after all. Now, this is where it gets even more complicated for poor Rui because they decide to implement, the Emperor doesn't decide. Empress Dowager decides to impose a law, or should I say enforce a law that if you lose a close relative like she did, like Rui did, she lost her aunt, you have to mourn for 3 years. That's extreme, but apparently that was the law. She decides to all of a sudden, like, we have to obey the law. Your aunt died, so you have to, So you have to mourn for 3 years. So everyone moves out of the manor, and she's left behind. Literally, they lock up the doors or the gates, and she has to be confined supposedly for 3 years. 3 years, guys. That's a lot. For my highlighter, I'm going to use the Ofra Collab Stuff Tom's Collab and Milk and Cookies. So, everyone leaves and Rui's left behind. It smells so good, guys. So she's left behind. And of course, now at this point, the Empress, she hasn't turned evil. Because later in the story, she does turn evil. She still gets along with Rui. And even the Empress is like, Empress Dowager, that's very extreme, don't you? Like, no, this is the rules. Da, da, da. Yeah. So, the Empress, well, I'm pretty sure she devises the plan with the Emperor because the Empress visits Rui and tells the guards, okay, don't close the gate. I'm gonna be back really quick. So she goes in. You see her go in, the Empress, but then the person that comes out, you don't see who it is. They're covered up, like they're covering their face up. They get in the, I think it's the sedan they call it, or a carriage, whatever it is. And the person that comes out is not the Empress, it's actually Rui. So Rui goes to the Emperor, and the Emperor knows it's her. So, like I said, that's why I think the Emperor clearly knew what was going to happen. And Rui says the only way she can get out of this so-called grieving confinement, which really, I mean, she's grieving, but 3 years, like, we know why. The Empress Dowager wants to confine her and get her away from the Emperor. Is if the Emperor not gives in, but makes the first move, because the Empress Dowager and the Emperor are in a power struggle because he's a newly crowned Emperor, so he doesn't have a lot of experience. I go overboard with the highlighter, I know. So he still has to rely on his senior advisors. So Ruri tells him, you have to make the first move. Move her into, I guess because she's the Empress Dowager, she gets this, you know, she moves up in a better palace. Move her in, show your familial, I'm going to call it familial, I don't know how to say the word correctly. Your familial loyalty and love to her, and she will give in. So he decides to take her advice, moves her in, moves the Empress Dowager into the palace that she should have moved in already. Shows her, you know, all the renovations he made to the palace and the flowers he planted, you know, gives her the grand tour. And obviously she knows that Ruri was the one that convinced him to do this. So she tells the Emperor, you know what, Ruri can go. She can be released from her mourning confinement, and she can, you know, move in with everyone else. So it works. She moves in. Okay, so after the... Oh, that's it, guys, actually. Yeah. That's it. I don't do lip products. I really should, and right now I'm not because my lips are already cracked, so the only thing I'm going to do is, oh, this. I guess I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Lip Balm in Negligee. I just love it. Her packaging for her lip balm is so fancy. Because right now I'm trying to rehydrate my lips, so... I know. Attractive. Anyways, so the Emperor Dowager gives her blessing to release Ruri from the confinement. She's released, and she joins everyone. Seriously, guys. Yes. I'm doing this because it's like sticking out. I don't like that. Yeah, once my lips rehydrate themselves and I'm good, then yeah, I'll start using the lip products, but right now, I gotta rehydrate my lips. So she's released from confinement. I'm gonna set everything with the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray. Yes, I go crazy with the setting spray. Now, I'm gonna press it down with this. Actually, let me do this a little bit. But so she's released from the confinement. She joins everyone else at the manor. But the power play still doesn't stop, because the Empress Dowager tells the Empress that, oh, you should place Ruri on... No, I'm confused with her current palace that she lives on. I forget what the name of the palace she originally was in, but in this palace. And of course, the palace conveniently chosen, okay, that she tells the Empress to place Ruri at, is the furthest away. So in order for the Emperor to visit her, it would be a distance. It's not close by. It's very, you know, it's a distance. And she does this on purpose because, again, she is trying to, you know, get the Emperor to not be so attached to her or love her so much or favor her so much. And that's where I leave the story, guys. If you're interested in me continuing the story, well, comment down below, yes or no. If you're not, that's fine. I just need to talk about something, and that just seemed the easiest thing. But this is the look. I mean, not bad considering I haven't done makeup in like over 6 months. I will link the eyeshadow look in this video because I think right now I'm gonna release the eyeshadow look, the review first, and then I'll post the get ready with me the next day. So the eyeshadow look will be linked on this one so you can see how I got it. And that's it. I will link everything that I used today as well in the description box if I can, because they do limit you, I think, a certain amount of characters, but I think it should be more than enough. But I'll try to link everything I used today. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this first ever Shop My Stash Get Ready with me. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!